Hello guys, my name is Nick and you are watching The Sports Entertainer. Make sure you have subscribed to our channel with post notifications turned on so that you never miss out on one of our daily WWE videos. Well guys, we are now just 1 week to go until the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania 35, and while the build-up to this year's WrestleMania started off pretty weak and uninteresting in the grand scheme of things, there's no denying that the WWE have stepped up their game significantly over these past few weeks leading up to the grandest stage of them all, and there are plenty of reasons why fans should be excited for WrestleMania this year, arguably the two biggest reasons being the legitimate possibility of Kofi Kingston dethroning Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship, as well as the likelihood of the women's championships being unified in the main event, with Becky Lynch rumored to be walking out of the show victorious in both the SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion. However, despite the fact that Vince McMahon usually tries to make the build-up to WrestleMania arguably the most important and interesting months of the year where WWE is concerned, with the rumors and potential leaked scenarios we have been informed of that McMahon is considering after WrestleMania, there's no doubt the rest of 2019, especially the road to SummerSlam, is looking to be quite intriguing as well. Over the past 2 weeks, we have been providing you guys with all the latest possible scenarios to look out for following WrestleMania, and in today's video, we will continue on with the most recent scenarios and rumors that are allegedly on Vince's and the WWE creative team's minds to move ahead with very soon following the show of shows. To start things off, we will provide you guys with some new information regarding the WWE's plans for Finn Balor after WrestleMania 35. And as many of you guys are probably already predicting, we have been informed that Finn Balor is almost guaranteed to be defeating Bobby Lashley next Sunday with the help of his Demon King persona to reclaim his Intercontinental Championship. As of right now, there's a real possibility of the United States and Intercontinental Champions switching brands during the upcoming Superstar shakeup, which likely means that Finn Balor will be joining SmackDown Live in the near future. However, whether Finn's on Raw or SmackDown is irrelevant, because one of the first reported feuds for Finn's Intercontinental title is apparently going to be Ricochet, as Triple H has allegedly tried his best to get Vince McMahon to include Ricochet in a major storyline after WrestleMania to keep his momentum going strong. And considering the WWE are planning for Finn Balor to return to the main event scene before 2019 comes to a close, having some great matches with the likes of Ricochet will do just as much good for Finn Balor as it certainly will for the King of Flight Ricochet. Whether or not Ricochet will end up winning the Intercontinental Championship from Finn Balor remains to be seen, but there's definitely a good chance of that being the case, potentially as early as Backlash or Money in the Bank. Though it is possible that Vince may decide to stretch out the Finn Balor vs Ricochet feud until SummerSlam, considering the WWE have other plans for the WWE Championship as we head into SummerSlam, which would effectively mean that Balor would be without a major storyline, which is a scenario the WWE don't want. On another note regarding the Intercontinental Championship, as you probably noticed in the thumbnail for this video, we have been informed that Vince McMahon is strongly considering the rather shocking possibility of inserting a women's division superstar into one of the WWE's male mid-card title scenes, again likely the Intercontinental title, and as of right now, the rumored women's superstar who could quite possibly be vying for, and in all likelihood win the Intercontinental Championship is none other than the self-proclaimed queen of WWE, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte would effectively be the first WWE women's wrestler to win the Intercontinental Championship since Chyna. For those of you wondering why Vince McMahon is considering this scenario, one of the reasons we have been informed of is that with all the great company PR that WWE has been receiving thus far, with a continued women's revolution in the WWE now leading us to the first ever women's WrestleMania main event this coming Sunday, Vince feels as though crowning a female competitor such as Charlotte Flair as the Intercontinental Champion, predominantly a male-dominated title scene, would continue to further along the movement to new heights. As well, although the WWE have decided to embrace Chyna to a certain extent in WWE, as we have seen with her upcoming 2019 Hall of Fame induction as a member of the DX stable, Vince reportedly wants another female superstar to have also held the Intercontinental title who is more company friendly. As we have stated before, the WWE are likely moving in the direction of adding more intergender style of wrestling in the near future, and considering Charlotte Flair is arguably the WWE's golden girl, it really shouldn't come as much of a surprise that Vince would decide to give Charlotte yet another history-making moment of capturing the Intercontinental Championship. If this rumored scenario ends up coming true, it's probable it would likely occur sometime towards the end of 2019, and if our sources prove to be accurate, Vince may be interested in making history once again at WrestleMania 36 for the WWE's women by having two female superstars face off against each other with the Intercontinental title on the line. Make sure you let us know down in the comment section below if you would be interested in seeing Charlotte Flair or another women's wrestler such as Nia Jax win the Intercontinental Championship, which means they would then share the same accomplishment with Chyna, who won the Intercontinental title twice in her career. Up next, we have some new information regarding the WWE's plans for the United States Championship following WrestleMania 35, and as we stated earlier, there's a very good chance that the US and Intercontinental titles will be switching brands during the upcoming Superstar shakeup, which would mean that the United States Championship and the champion itself, either Samoa Joe or Rey Mysterio, who are set to face each other for the title at WrestleMania, will likely be moving to Monday Night Raw very soon. However, regardless of who walks out of WrestleMania the US champion, we have been informed that one of the first challengers for the title is reportedly going to be Aleister Black. With the likelihood of Ricochet joining SmackDown Live remains very high, we have been informed that Vince McMahon believes that Aleister Black will fit in very well on Monday Night Raw, given his larger-than-life persona, and despite the fact that some fans were worried about how Aleister would fare on the WWE main roster, considering he doesn't really have the look that Vince typically appreciates in his top stars, our sources have mentioned that McMahon is a firm supporter and fan of Aleister's work thus far, and a United States Championship run is likely going to be only the beginning of Aleister's push on the main roster. Whether it's Rey Mysterio or Samoa Joe who will be feuding with Aleister Black, there's no doubt that Aleister will put on some great matches with either two superstars at the pay-per-views leading up to SummerSlam. With that being said, we have been told that Aleister Black could be on the hunt for the Universal title before the year's end, so it's very clear that Vince McMahon has big plans for the former NXT champion. And finally guys, our last bit of information is in regards to the WWE's plans for the WWE Championship after WrestleMania 35, and more specifically, the rumored plans for Kofi Kingston and the rest of the New Day. As of right now, although there is always a possibility of Vince throwing fans a huge curveball at the last minute by having Big E turn heel at WrestleMania 35 and thus costing Kofi Kingston the WWE Championship in the process, we have been informed that the most likely outcome of the WWE title match is Kofi Kingston defeating Daniel Bryan to become the first ever full African American WWE Champion in history with no interference from the other members of the New Day. But as we have mentioned before, the possible scenario of Big E turning on Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods shortly following WrestleMania 35 is reportedly an idea that Vince McMahon is very keen on. To put some perspective on things, before the WWE had established Roman Reigns as arguably the company's biggest star since John Cena, around the time when Vince was contemplating who the next face of the company should be, as surprising as it may sound, Vince was apparently considering Big E for the role, but the WWE ended up deciding to move ahead with Reigns instead. However, over the past months during the Kofi Mania storyline, the feelings that Vince had of making Big E a top star in the WWE have reportedly come back due to McMahon being very impressed with Langston's work lately, especially promo-wise, and if our information proves to be accurate, Big E could very well receive a substantial heel push after WrestleMania 35. And we have been told that if Vince decides to move ahead with the idea of Big E turning heel on Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, it would most likely begin with Langston walking out of the 2019 Men's Money in the Bank ladder match the winner after previously earning the opportunity to be in the match with Kofi and Xavier's support. Whether Big E would cash in on Kofi the same night during Kingston's WWE title defense, in all probability a rematch against Daniel Bryan, would remain to be seen, but the chances of Big E's cash-in going smoothly and successfully whenever it would happen are very high. However, we should note that the WWE may end up deciding to give the men's Money in the Bank briefcase to another superstar this year, and in my personal opinion, I don't think that the briefcase has to be involved in the Big E heel turn storyline to keep fans interested in it. With that being said, while the storyline would unquestionably solidify Big E as a legitimate force to be reckoned with and a top star, it leaves us to wonder how Kofi Kingston, and to an even larger extent, how Xavier Woods would fare in the WWE without the New Day faction. Make sure you let us know if the WWE should split up the New Day to begin with, and if so, how do you foresee all three members, Kofi, Xavier, and Big E, would fare in the WWE over the long term? Well guys, what do you think about these scenarios the WWE could decide to move ahead with after the Showcase of the Immortals WrestleMania 35? Are these rumored scenarios of any interest to you, or are there other storylines you would be more intrigued by as we move into the build-up to SummerSlam 2019? Make sure you sound off in the comment section down below and give us your thoughts and opinions on the matter. Thanks for watching The Sports Entertainer. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also be sure that you hit that subscribe button for all of our daily WWE videos.